Hell of a way to start the video. Yeah, I got a little bit of a cough thing going on, so yeah, beware of that. I guess not really beware, but be aware. Be aware. Okay. This is a question video, obviously. But come on, TJ, stop with the body noises. Okay. Fuck! Maybe I shouldn't do this right now. Okay. Let's just get into the questions. That'll make things better. Would you be for or against America changing their metric system? Well, I guess you mean changing to the metric system. I'm against it. And not for any really, any intelligent or defensible reason. I'm against us changing because I like the fact that we're so eccentric with the way we measure things. You know, the metric system, everything makes sense. It's all, you know, 10 this equals a that, and 10 that equals a this. Okay, sure. Perfect sense. Our shit's all fucked up. Like, okay, there's 12 inches in a foot, and there's 3 feet in a yard, and, you know, there's no fucking rhyme or reason. I mean, a mile is like, you know, some random ass number of feet. I wish I knew. I don't. I'm not overly concerned with measuring things. But yeah, it's all totally fucking haphazard. It's like, you know, it makes no sense. And I like that. You know, you know, if I was a pragmatist, I'd probably be all about switching to the metric system. But since I am a whatever I am, I'm not. Thank you. By the way, I'm answering these questions in the order of most recent, so highly unfair to the people who got in early. You know, this is one of those things where you're rewarded for being late. Can you present proof and evidence that Santa Claus never had gay sex with Peter Pan? I wish I could, but I can actually attest to quite the opposite. Santa Claus did have sex with Peter Pan. I was there, I saw it, I filmed it, I have the video, I'm willing to send it to anyone who's willing to pay me $10 million for it. So, yeah. Will you ever do another 24-hour broadcast? You know, I hope I never do, but I know that I probably will at some fucking point, because, let's face it, I am insane and retarded. Mostly just retarded. Okay. What do you think of America making Let the Right One In? Oh, remaking Let the Right One In. Well, you know, I'm pretty pissed. And I'm even more pissed now that the early reviews seem to indicate that the remake is actually good. You know, I mean, like, that's the worst that you could ever hope for, is a fucking remake, an American remake of a good Swedish film. I believe it was Swedish. I always get the nationality wrong. Maybe it was Danish. I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter. An American remake of a good foreign film that's actually, in and of itself, good. That's horrible. You don't want that. You want the American version to be a piece of trash that you can mock relentlessly. If it's actually good, then you have to say, okay, well, I guess he did a good job. You know what? I'm hoping that I go see it, and that it either is really bad, or that it's so good that I can forgive that it remakes one of my favorite movies of all time. Who is your favorite character from the Sonic the Hedgehog series? What do you think of Shadow the Hedgehog as a character? You know, I don't really know much about Sonic the Hedgehog. I played like the first 2 games way back a long fucking time ago. But I guess Dr. Robotnik, or whatever the fuck his name is. I see people calling him some other name too, like Dr. Eggman or Egghead or some shit. I like him. He's cool. I like the strangeness of his body proportions. big fucking gut, little tiny legs and arms, and then that weird mustache that goes an improbable distance away from his face. He seems fun. I like him. I want to party with him. Do you have neck and back problems? I guess I must have some neck problems because I'm always cracking it. But it doesn't really ever bother me overtly, except for, you know, on occasion, like I'll pull something. But I do have back problems, mostly owing to my size. Lower back problems. I have difficulty bending over straight. I kind of have to do this like sidewinder thing where I have to like swivel on my hip. You can't really see it because I'm sitting down and the camera cuts off at my mid-chest. So this illustration has been pointless, but yeah. How much can you bench press? Don't know. Don't care. I probably never will know because I had to go to a gym. And I don't like to go to gyms because they're filled with people who like to go to gyms, who are the most obnoxious of people on the planet Earth. Aren't they? Just these guys that are just standing in front of the mirror. You know, they say it's to watch their form, but you know it's not. You know, they're just looking at their reflection like, oh, I'm so sexy. I wish I could fuck me, you know. Yeah. Okay. What are some of your least favorite movies of all time? Least favorite movie. I don't bother going around contemplating like, oh, what's the worst shit I've ever seen? But I guess Transformers 3 was really bad. Not 3, 2. It felt like 3. Yeah, Transformers 2 was terrible. That's the worst thing I could think of offhand. G.I. Joe, Revenge of Cobra, or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah, that was pretty terrible. Pretty much all the Mummy movies are pretty bad. Shit like that. I mean, you know, a Tank Girl, that's a bad movie. Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't have some list in my head like, oh, what? I'm going to categorize all of these in the order with which I enjoyed them the least. It just doesn't make sense to me to do that. What are your thoughts on Buddhism? I've gotten in trouble with the Buddhists a number of times for criticizing Buddhism. I think Buddhism is a way of making people content with things they shouldn't be content with. I think that it's a way of placating people. I think it's a way of making peasants accept their peasant status. I think it's a way of removing people from the most important aspects of their lives by saying that you shouldn't be attached to things. I think you need to be attached to things. I think that it's important that you suffer. Buddhism is all about alleviating suffering, and I don't agree with that. I think that suffering is an important part of human life. I think that it's part of what gives our lives beauty. Because without suffering, there can be no jubilation, no moments of extraordinary, exuberant happiness. You know, you got to take the good with the bad, and Buddhism kind of just wants you to find this mental place where you're incapable of either, and I don't really like that. And every time I talk about Buddhism, people send me messages telling me I don't understand Buddhism, but then I ask them to explain it to me, and they basically parrot that exact philosophy back to me, so I don't know what they think I don't understand. I think if you're someone who states the tenets of Buddhism in a negative way, then Buddhists will say that you misunderstand simply because you don't agree. But there is a difference, Buddhists, between not understanding and not agreeing. And if you're going to say I don't understand, then explain to me where I'm fucking wrong. Thank you. If God came before you for a moment, he exists. What the fuck? If God came before you, okay, assuming for a moment that he exists, what would you want to say to him or ask? Some of you guys really need to work on your fucking grammar skills, alright? I just give the fucking finger. You fucking suck. That's it. Why? I mean, what could you possibly get out of him? I mean, you know, why? There's no good answer for most of the stuff that you could ask him. Why is there suffering? Oh, well, you know, just fucking felt like it. You know, it's part of the human condition, like I said in the last fucking question. But if there could be a world where you don't have to suffer in order to experience that happiness, then why didn't he create that world? I mean, the Christian answer to that question is that he created a garden, you know, where everything was perfect, but we betrayed him and broke his one little rule. We ate the fruit, and we shouldn't have done that, because that was the fruit that gave us the knowledge of good and evil, and that fucked it all up. Kicked us out of the garden, and all of a sudden, lions and lambs were no longer friends, and they were ripping each other apart. Well, the lions were ripping the lambs apart. Maybe not so much the lambs ripping the lions apart. But, yeah. Real brutal stuff. But, yeah. Why is there suffering, I guess, would be a good question. But, you know, like I said in the Buddhist answer, I think there is something to be said for suffering. But that's, of course, within the context of the universe as it exists now. If you're God, then you can create the universe any way you want. So you could make a completely fulfilling and beautiful human experience if you wanted to, if it was high on your list of priorities, but apparently it's not high on God's list of priorities. What's high on God's list of priorities is creating a world where amputee children don't get enough to eat in third world countries and are covered in flies and shit. That's his priority. That's what he likes. That's his hobby and habit. Yeah. So he's kind of a douchebag. So I think I'd just go with my original answer of just giving him the middle finger and fuck you. Yeah, that's probably the best thing you can do. Waffles or pancakes? You know, is there really a fucking difference? I mean, you know, at the end of the day, is there really a fucking difference? I know that they're shaped different, but they got the same damn consistency. I mean, you can trick yourself into saying, oh no, but it's bullshit, okay? They're the same fucking thing. They're the goddamn same thing. The only reason, the only difference really is that pancakes are stackable, and waffles have those little ridges to lock in the syrup. But you know what that does? It means that you can't get the syrup to spread evenly all around the whole fucking waffle, because it gets stuck in those little crevices, and you can't get it to the other places you need it to go, unless you use a fucking gallon of syrup, and then you get sick. So I prefer pancakes, because you can just spread the syrup evenly across the nice flat surface. Plus, you can't stack waffles. I mean, I guess you can technically, but you'd look like a fucking glutton. For some reason, it's just understood that if you eat a waffle, you eat one. If you eat pancakes, you can stack those motherfuckers up to the ceiling and no one fucking questions it. People are just like, oh, he must be hungry. That's it. You eat 2 waffles, people are like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? 2 waffles? He's crazy. Call the mental institution. TJ, why have you stopped doing long video Sunday? I understand doing a video a week that could get stressful, but why none at all? Also, what's it like to be a gigantic faggot? Sincerely, Trash Can Man. I don't do long video Sunday because it's just too fucking hard, and what's the point? I mean, I don't have that much shit to talk about. I make little tiny YouTube videos because that's easy. I like talking about little subjects for a brief amount of time, and then people go, yay! If I do long video Sunday, then I talk about a whole bunch of shit, and it just makes people ask me a bunch of stupid fucking questions. And, you know, then I have to do more videos like this. So, let's just avoid that whole, whatever, yeah. See, this is why I don't do long videos Sunday. Because, you know, if I'm in a YouTube video and I feel like, oh, I don't know what to say next, I can just stop, think about it, say what I want to say, and then edit it all together seamlessly later on. Here, if I say something I don't want to say, or if I can't figure out what I want to say, I can't find the right words. I just gotta be like, well, yeah, so it's not good. Have you seen Three Guys, One Hammer, and do you know where I can find it? Three Guys, One Hammer. I don't know. I can't remember all of these, you know, this many thises, this many that's. I've seen a bunch of them, but, I don't know. I don't think I've seen that one. I probably have. Just forgot about it. Does it bother you that the amazing atheist has become the sellout you so loudly spoke against in your early videos? I don't ever remember speaking out against sellouts. You gotta find me that fucking clip. I don't ever remember saying, like, fuck sellouts! Because, you know, it was my intention from the very beginning to sell out as hard and as fast as I possibly could. But I think there's a distinction to be made here. Because there's two different kinds of selling out, if you really think about it. There's selling out where you say what you want to say, but you try to monetize it as much as possible. And then there's selling out where you change your whole spiel just based on what you think will make more money. You know, in other words, there's like Conan O'Brien, and then there's like Jay Leno. And, you know, if you're Jay Leno, then yeah, you're a horrible piece of shit. But you can be Conan O'Brien. There's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly respectable. Make money off what you do. I mean, you know, people who tell me I shouldn't make money off of what I do are basically saying to me that what I do isn't worth anything. And if you're saying that, then I will fight you. I'm not talking about I will fight you in some sort of like, we're gonna get in a room and sit down and have a conversation. I mean, we will fight. There will be blood. I am willing to get violent over this. Yeah. So yeah. That's my answer to that question. Why don't you respond to my messages? Roar! Because you're a fag. Holy shit, thank you for bringing this back. I hope you also bring back Scotty. My question is, when are you going to make another interview with Howard Blow? I was actually just talking to Howard a little bit earlier on Facebook. I'm in a transitional period in my life right now, and as soon as that's over, me and him are going to lay down some new interviews. I actually have one in the can right now that I still haven't had a chance to edit. I'll hopefully be able to do that pretty soon. And from there, we should be able to do some brand spanking ass new interviews. And it should be a good time. Good time should be had by all. It should be a magical, tragical, delicious evening. Are there any internet forums you are currently active on? What the hell is this? Oh, well, whatever. No, not really. Are you starting to think that America is in serious danger of becoming an enormous reactionary stronghold as you witness it progressively lurching to the right, or do you think it will recover? I think that there's a song on YouTube by a guy who I think is named Roy Zimmerman, maybe? And he's like this liberal song guy. Song guy, yeah. I don't know what those are called. Singers? Maybe. He sings songs, they're kind of comedy songs with a liberal slant, and one of the songs he sings is, I think it's called America. and he says America is a 57 Chevy that veers to the left and lurches to the right. I think that's kind of what happens. I think America always in these, it has this strange tendency to go to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, and then just suddenly just whoop, course correction to the left. The problem is right now is that the right wing has discovered the grassroots movement. And it's really strange because traditionally grassroots movements have been liberal in nature. So to have this strange new phenomena of right-wingers taking to the streets with their signs, I think a lot of liberals just don't know how to fucking handle it. I don't know how to handle it, honestly. It's very odd. I wonder what the social reasons behind it, what the social reasons behind it are. Sociological reasons, I guess I should say. Anyway, will you ever read God the Invisible King by H.G. Wells? Maybe. I've never even heard of it, but maybe I'll read it one day. It's always possible. Do you play video games? If yes, tell us what are some of the games you're playing now. I played Tetris. Quite a lot of Tetris, actually. And the last game that I played that most people would admit to is Fallout 3, I guess. And I plan on playing Fallout New Vegas. So, yeah. I play all the Fallouts, except for the first two. So, just that one so far. But, yeah. I plan on playing the second one in the Bethesda thingies. So, yeah. Alright. How much do you weigh in kilos? I don't know how much I weigh in fucking kilos. I don't even know how much I weigh in pounds right now. Can you give an in-depth explanation of your beliefs? I know atheist, obviously, but can you go more in-depth about other aspects such as spirits, souls, demons, etc.? Aside from being an atheist, I am also a skeptic. I do not believe in ghosts, demons. I don't believe in the supernatural. And that's not to say that I cannot be persuaded to believe in the supernatural, because I don't think that's a skeptic. I think that's just someone who is has this rigid and unshakable disbelief, which is just as bad as a rigid and unshakable belief. However, I don't believe anything until there is empirical evidence, and there is no empirical evidence for any of those things. At least no good empirical evidence that hasn't been debunked 100 times over. So yeah, pretty much anything that is within the realm of the supernatural, I don't believe in it. And by the time I do believe in it, it will no longer be considered supernatural, because once something is explained, it is then incorporated into our view of the natural world, and it becomes part of what we can scientifically study. So there is no supernatural. Do you have a fetish for blonde girls? Quite the opposite, really. I usually don't like blondes at all. What would drive you to suicide? I just don't see it for myself. I don't see how I could do it. I'm just too convinced of my own sheer awesomeness. I guess if I lost any sense of myself and I became so hopelessly depressed, but I mean, that's kind of what you're asking. I mean, I'm kind of begging the question there. I don't know. I guess I'll find out if I ever commit suicide or have a suicidal thought, but I've not even had a suicidal thought. I've never even thought, I'm gonna kill myself. I mean, I've had little idle thoughts that I didn't really put any weight behind, like wouldn't it be funny if I killed myself and just left a note that said I'm bored? But, you know, that's just for, like, the lulz. Are you still running for president in 2020 on the free root beer floats for everyone platform? It sounds like a good idea. Did I say that? Free root beer floats for everyone? Because that's a pretty damn good platform. I think I could win if that was my platform. But then my opponents might come up with something even better, like free banana splits for everyone or something. Then again, some people are allergic to bananas. So, I guess it's anyone's game. Do you have a scat fetish? No. No, I do not. But, I'm not really super judgmental about people who do, but I've never even known anyone who does. Like, even the people who I meet who are into all kinds of weird stuff are never into that. I don't think I've ever known anyone into scat, and if I ever did, I'd like to, you know, have, like, this long discussion with them about it, because I'd really like to understand that. I'm always obsessed with other people's fetishes, especially the ones that I don't share even slightly, because I always want to fucking understand what's going on in their heads, what about it appeals to them, what sort of psychological factors are at play. If you had the world's undivided attention for 1 minute, what would you say? I don't know. You can't really say a lot in a minute. There's really nothing you could say in a minute that's going to be too relevant to people. I guess if I had a minute, I would just say that... I mean, am I going to have to live with these people afterwards, or is this like I have a minute to say what I need to say and then I go back to, you know, anonymity, or my, you know, relative anonymity? I don't know. I like to just express my hatred and disgust for humanity in general. All the ways that I think they're a disappointment. But you really couldn't put that into a minute. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna get a cough drop here. Dying so horribly. Okay. I want to lean down further in my chair, so there we go. What are your thoughts on Linkin Park's new album? I haven't heard it, but it probably sucks, I would assume. Just, you know, based on their past albums. Does armpit juice smell like Chinese food? Sometimes. Yeah, it kind of does. It can smell like a lot of things, though. So, you know what more often smells like Chinese food is my socks. Don't know why. It smells like, it doesn't smell like any of the Chinese food that I eat, but if I go to like a Chinese buffet and I'm in like the weirder section with the more authentic kind of Chinese food, I kind of get that smell. Like, yeah, there's kind of a dirty sock smell around here. Should there be an exact age of consent, and if not, how should we decide when people are allowed to have sex? I don't know if there should be an exact age, because drawing a line in the sand and saying, oh, okay, everyone to this side does this, and everyone on that side does... Yeah. I don't know. It just doesn't strike me as making a lot of sense, but I really don't know what other factor you could use to decide these things. Maybe, no, I don't know. It's beyond me, dude. What do you think of libertarians like Ron Paul? Ron Paul is not a fucking libertarian. I don't know how this guy is considered a libertarian. But then again, I don't even know how the Libertarian Party is considered libertarian at this point. Maybe libertarian has just been stolen from the true libertarians, and I just need to accept it. The same way that conservatism was taken from the true conservatives, you know, years ago. I mean, you know, you look at a conservative today, and he has nothing to fucking do with the Barry Goldwater idea of what a conservative was. in the fucking 60s. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it just doesn't make any fucking sense at all at this point. So yeah, but I don't consider Ron Paul a libertarian. Why did Cody start directing your videos, or more to the point, why didn't he start directing the videos sooner? Well, Cody came down to shoot or start shooting a documentary about me, and he and I started deciding, you know, maybe we could shoot some YouTube videos together, and it just, the results looked so nice that that we just kept doing it, and then it just exploded from there. And I hope to basically have him be my full-time director, and yeah, I mean, you know, I really hope that there are very few amazing atheist videos in the future that aren't directed by him or someone of equal talent, because I realize that I like my videos so much better when there's someone else behind the camera and someone else handling the editing. I really like to do my performances, and that's really the fun part for me. I mean, I like editing alright, but you know, I know nothing about fucking cameras or framing shots or lighting or any of that shit. What is your favorite form of entertainment? Do you like video games, TV? And if either of those, what console or show? Okay, I see what you're saying. Console. No, not really. I'm not really into either of those too much. So, tits or ass? Both are good, I find. I guess I'll go slightly with ass, but tits are great too. Has anyone ever been far even as decided to what? Okay, I'm gonna skip that because that doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna try to figure this out, because the more I look at it, has anyone really been far even as decided to use, even go, want to do, look more like? What the fuck? It's so strange, because it looks like it wants to make sense, but it just doesn't. Has anyone really been far even as decided to use, even go, want to do, look more like? I'm convinced that this is a really fucking subtle troll, because there's no fucking way! No fucking way anyone asked that seriously. Okay. What is your favorite hat? Please answer honestly. And it cannot be a baseball or trucker cap. Why not? You asked me to answer honestly, and then you start excluding possibilities. I'm not answering you at all. Hey TJ, my question is, if a top-notch college offered to hand you a PhD in one subject of your choice, what would you choose? I think I'd just tell them to go fuck themselves. I don't want no stinking-ass PhD. Why did your mother decide to become an atheist? That doesn't make any sense. Why do you like The Catcher in the Rye? I've already explained that in the past.